Welcome to Free Discourse Radio. This is Frank Davey. I'm going to do a Young Turks video today with one of the newer guys again. Not Hassan Piker, I actually forget the guy's name. I'll let you know as soon as I see it. Here we go.
This was an evil act. Our first thoughts are with the families of those killed and injured.
You may be familiar with this image. It's often seen across...
The image here is is showing like a meme kind of thing. It's like a cycle. It starts with a terror attack, and then there's an arrow pointing down, and has the hashtag pray for, enter, set attack here. Then another arrow going around says change Facebook profile to overlay of the flag. And then another one goes to life goes back to normal and then back to the terrorist attack. It's like a never-ending cycle. That's what the meme tries to display there.
Social media after a high-profile terror attack with the go-to caption of "Wake up" or "Step up." But I see a different cycle, and I believe a more
Name is Francis Maxwell.
dangerous one that replaces terms with "blame all Muslims," calls for more innocent bloodshed, and impatiently wait for next attack to exploit for...
Well... Okay, so he has gone ahead and changed the entire cycle, and now it says instead, terror attack, arrow down, blame all Muslims, arrow down, call for more innocent bloodshed, arrow down, wait for the next attack to exploit, and then back to terror attack. That's a little bit, far-fetched.
Hate-filled political agenda, because with each heinous, vile attack that occurs, the time hate-filled trolls wait to exploit innocent deaths to assert their political narrative shortens. What is it now? 10 seconds? 15 seconds after, when political mudslinging clouds the space and clogs our timeline.
This quote-unquote political mudslinging that he's trying to talk about are people who are begging their government to do something about the overwhelming amount of terrorism and things that are happening in Europe. So, he's kind of trying to say it's political mudsliding, but, to me it looks like a lot of people are trying to call out for the police and for the government to actually do something more than just hold memorials and this and that.
Lines overshadowing the pleas for help or emergency contacts for those in need. The Manchester attack was a cowardly, despicable, evil act committed by a warped perpetrator looking to incite hate and divide. And
see, that doesn't tell the whole story now, does it? Yes, he may be trying to spread hate and blah, 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 but they don't see it that way. The reason why they do what they do is because of their doctrines, the doctrines that they pervert. But we need to tell it how it is. This comes from Islam. This comes from several different, all their books. Like it's readily available in every store that you can buy books in.
Who are the accomplices in this? And I don't care how much trouble this gets me in or who I piss off. People like Katie Hopkins, the UK's very own Ann Coulter, who has used any and every tragedy to crawl her way back to relevance, who demanded a final solution after this attack. A term used by Nazis during World War II in regards to exterminating Jews. People like the idiot Joe Walsh, who could not pick Manchester out on a map and who has most likely never stepped...
How do you know that? How do you know how much geography Joe Walsh knows? That's you're just picking at him with something you don't even know if it's true. But as well as that too about the final solution comments made by Kate Hopkins. Probably not the best wording, honestly, for her. But as far as what people on the left are saying about it, I think I find it kind of hypocritical to first defend the Jews and make the comparison and say, oh yeah, it's from Hitler used the same language, and then but in the same light, you refuse to protect the Jews that are affected by hatred coming from some of these Muslim communities.
Outside the deranged bubble in the States, blaming Muslims, calling for an end to Europe and preaching doomsday. People like Fox News talking head Geraldo Rivera, who immediately demonstrate their ignorance and prejudice by falsely deeming Manchester a hotbed of Islamic radicals.
Alright, the tweet says, many terrorists arrested in mowing down of pedestrians outside Westminster, London in March were from Manchester, hotbed of Islamic radicals. I don't really see how that's prejudiced to say. We know that there are Islamic radicals throughout their communities, and some people have snuck video cameras into some of the mosques. Again, I'm not saying all of them, but some of the mosques are preaching, first of all, calling everybody a kafir, or kafar, which is a derogatory term used to describe anyone who isn't Muslim, and also calling for the destruction of Jews. You can look this up on YouTube. Some of the hidden cameras where people have gone in and done this and taped them saying these things.
Because while evil pulls the trigger, this ideology only survives when hatred and exclusivity become practice. When people call for further violence directed at innocent lives, who, by the way, let me say again for those in the back, Muslims are the #1 victims of jihad. You think
Exactly. This is why we need to have some kind of comprehensive legislation, whether it's stopping the immigration or maybe reforming the assimilation processes that the Labour Party and other leftists in Europe have failed to do. And and since actually we're just going to continue here.
ISIS wants us to bind together, to offer our homes, support, cups of tea to those in need who are waiting to hear if their loved ones survive such barbarity. No, they want knee-jerk response out of anger. They want more innocent bloodshed. They want the Katie Hopkins of the world to lead with calls for revenge, using
You're damn right they're angry. They're angry because these attacks keep happening, and the only response that they're getting is to come together with unity and love and let us not hate triumph over love and blah, blah, blah. No, there are a lot of people right now that are talking about wanting to actually do something about this, actually take action, and actually try to prevent further attacks from happening in the future. And about what he said with Muslims being the people most affected, this is exactly why we need to do something, because I worry for Muslims already who came through legal terms and left the Islamic countries to get away from Sharia law, and they just want to practice their faith in peace. I'm afraid that the more migrants come in, the more the rules are going to be changed for them in their communities, and maybe Sharia law can return to some of those areas. They don't want that. They left their countries because they wanted to get away from oppression, not just so it could follow them to the free nations that they chose to go to.
Overtly anti-Muslim rhetoric because it's a recruitment tool for them. To the young, disaffected male Muslims living in the West, they'll say, see, they don't want you. They'll turn their back on you and blame you. Join us. People are...
No. That's not exactly how it's going. It's religious-based. The hatred is religious-based. We need to tell it how it is. They're using the Quran, they're using their sacred texts and perverting them and projecting hatred on people who are non-Muslims. I mean, this is something that is pretty it's all around the Middle East, this type of thinking.
Angry and have every right to be. Kids should not attend a concert afraid that they'll never come back. Tensions are high and people want answers. I get it. But what are these people stating we need to wake up want? Do they want more of the same mass hate mongering that drove wars in Iraq and Afghanistan?
No, they want comprehensive legislation that's going to prevent terrorists from getting into their country. It's not about he's about to go on about Iraq here. But honestly, it's about the influx of refugees into the European Union and Britain, and this is one of the reasons why they left Europe, Britain, because they wanted control of their borders back.
Understand that birth ISIS in the first place? Do they want more soldiers put in harm's way? Do they want more innocent lives surrendered? Please.
Of course not. Of course not. That is exactly why they want to stop this problem before it gets even worse and it pours over into violence or civil war or unrest of some kind.
Answer me. No. What they want is a microphone to expand their platform and capitalize off of others' suffering. Oh, but what if...
Oh, that's convenient, isn't it? How they can... it's only the left that cares about these situations. Everyone else is just doing it for political gain.
About free speech. Your cowardly attempt to hide behind free speech. Free speech may give you the right to call for a final solution or demand vengeance, but just because you have a legal right to say something doesn't mean you are any less of a hate-filled asshole for doing so. And it also means...
Another jerk-off from the Young Turks calling people assholes. I just covered this the other day with Hassan Piker calling Julian Assange an asshole after, they loved him for releasing WikiLeaks. Releasing emails to WikiLeaks. And now he's here calling everybody who's trying to get the government to put their foot down is apparently an asshole. Honestly, I'd accept the title if that's what it took.
Means that I get to call you out for being an opportunist who won't even wait until the bodies are counted to demand more violence, more bigotry, and more suffering. There's no filter in these attacks, no specific...
No, what's going to fuel more bigotry and more violence and more suffering is going to be the continued inaction by the West to take control of the out-of-control situation that is happening in Europe.
Filter that prioritizes Muslim lives. This is an attack on everyone who values the good in this life. Everyone who wants to go to concerts, to football games, to Christmas markets or marathons. These things are not exclusive to one race or ethnicity. They are for humans to enjoy the happiness in life.
All he is doing is virtue signaling here, and honestly, like, he's telling us that, oh, we want to be able to keep going to our games, our football games, and going out to our concerts and stuff like that. And yet he provides no solution to how we can stop these attacks. He just wants us to continue going on with our blinders on. Don't talk about the religion. Don't talk about race. Don't talk about whatever it takes. Maybe not race, actually. I'm sorry. I meant to say religion.
So go ahead, laugh off the goodwill of people sending thoughts, prayers, and love. Because it's those sentiments that helped Manchester last night. The people of the city who opened up their homes to everyone. The people who had the kettle on for people waiting on news. The taxi drivers who offer free rides home. This is the city that drove the Industrial Revolution. The city that birthed a hurricane of creativity and talent.
Yeah, but we don't want to see any more attacks where it would require people to open their homes to other people. We want the attacks to stop, and I'm pretty sure they would all agree.
Like Oasis, the Smiths, the Art of Lowry, Manchester United, Manchester City, the countless athletes, the birthplace of the suffragettes, the comedians, the activists. I have had the great pleasure of knowing my fair share of Mancunians, and I can say that your hatred does not speak for them. You will never meet anyone tougher than a man, and this city will endure.
Because they want to divide us, don't they? They want us to turn on our neighbours, and it'll never happen.
Choose love, Manchester.
Follow me on Instagram at Francis M. Maxwell, and on Twitter at Francis M. Maxwell also.
It's pretty scary. This is pretty much the end of the video, but it's pretty scary to see all these public officials coming out, bouncing anyone who talks about the fact that maybe it's Islam that might be perverting the minds of these young individuals who are going out and doing these attacks. They just bounce away with it and say, "Oh no, we can't let this turn us against our neighbors." No, the thing is, people want to protect their neighbors, especially the Muslim ones who are suffering the most. They know that already. It's old, the virtue signaling, the moral. How do you say? They're projecting their morals onto us. They're calling us assholes because we don't agree with them. And honestly, he doesn't provide any solutions here. Love triumphing over hate. It's not going to stop ISIS. They're not going to stop attacking because we're in kumbaya and have our arms around each other singing back and forth. Not going to happen. They're going to keep going until all of our countries are destroyed. And again, I'm not talking about all Muslims. I hold this position because I want to protect them as well. I'm worried that the rules are going to be changed in their communities. And they're not going to be happy, and maybe they'll look to go somewhere else. But in conclusion here, I mean, I think this is honestly, I pretty much already concluded there's no solutions being presented here, and Young Turks. I mean, they really need to reflect on who they're hurting by doing all this, and they need to see that they are pretty much acting as a wall. Between us finding the solution to and acting on the solution that we find, and implementing maybe some legislation that can take control of the out of control situation. There have been over a dozen terrorist attacks in the last couple of years in Europe and in the United States as well, with San Bernardino and other places like that. This is a problem, and really, it's kind of old news at this point to say, "Oh, we need to stop being racist and hatred." Yeah, we know. No one's like. I'm not saying there are no racists, but a lot of the people that are out there speaking out simply just want the government to put their foot down on the migrant crisis. And I think they're very much justified to do so. I don't want to see any more bombs. I don't want to see any more kids getting killed. I mean, I'm afraid that we're going to start seeing things like we saw in Kabul, Afghanistan today, where the huge car bomb exploded, destroyed 50 vehicles, and then killed 80 people, 350 people injured. Imagine seeing that in one of our countries. I really hope it's not going to go there, and I hope we can do something before more attacks happen. Thanks for listening to Free Discourse Radio.